Alright lads, even though it seems that most people don't give a damn about Vanguard Zombies, in today's video, I'm still going to go through with a ranking. I'm going to be ranking every single covenant in Vanguard Zombies. So as far as I know, every single one of the 11 covenants in the game has 3 different rarities, which are rare, epic, and legendary. And for this ranking, I decided that I would take every rarity into account when deciding where to put a certain covenant. Now that being said, dead last at number 11, there was no question about it, it is Bloodlust. Because even at the legendary rarity, the highest round where you will get a one-hit melee is round 10. Now to me this means that this covenant is only useful to you in the first 10 rounds of any given zombies game, and I know that when you use this covenant and you hit a zombie with it, it's going to heal you a little bit, but that's going to be nullified by the fact that they're just going to swarm you if you're trying to melee all of the zombies. It's not going to help you at all. Next up at number 10, I have as Ammo Gremlin, which refills the ammo of stowed weapons from the stock at varying speeds depending on which rarity that you have. And for whatever reason, I haven't been able to get this one on legendary. It's one of a few that I haven't been able to get legendary on this game. But as for epic, I tried testing how fast it actually refills your ammo from the stock, and I got around 12 bullets per 5 seconds. It's not a perfect measurement, but it does illustrate how fast it actually refills the ammo from your stock. However, I don't think that this is very useful because you actually have to put away that weapon for it to start refilling your ammo. If you're willing to wait 5 seconds in order to refill a portion of a clip from your stock, then you're definitely able to reload your weapon with tier 4 speed cola. Next up at number 9 and number 8, I actually have these as interchangeable. They are Cryofreeze and Brain Rot. I was originally going to have Cryofreeze as the bottom of the ranking, but I actually got the legendary version of Cryofreeze not too long ago, and the added effect for that rarity is that sometimes it explodes, and that explosion makes it so that any zombies in the surrounding area are frozen, and that actually seems alright in some games and some scenarios, but I realized that the effect lasts like 2 seconds if that, and whenever it affects a zombie individually, it only affects one of them, so it's not that great. And same goes for Brain Rot. I mean, it's the standard Brain Rot we know and love from other versions of zombies. I've only been able to get the epic version, and it lasts about 15 seconds. It gets you a few kills, but you know, in the end, there are definitely more useful covenants in this game. At the number 7 spot, I have as Unholy Ground, and with this one, you do more damage when you shoot while you're stationary. This is yet another that I have not been able to get legendary, but on epic, I did a little bit of testing, and I found that my damage went from 116 to 192, which is a 66% increase in damage, which isn't too bad. The factor that kills this covenant for me is that you have to stay still in order for that damage increase. And I just don't see very many scenarios where standing still is going to be the optimal way to get rid of the zombies, especially when you have a bunch of big boys trying to mow you down with their big boy LMGs. And for those reasons, I see it as the least helpful covenant when it comes to damage increase. Coming in at the number 6, I have as Resurrectionist, and I'm on a level with you guys. Not only have I not gotten this covenant for legendary, but I haven't even played zombies on co-op. I'm sorry, I'm not going to subject myself to that where you have to have 2 other people confirm an objective for you. I'm not about that. But I am a resourceful lad, and I went onto one of Mr. T-Lexify's videos. I saw that a regular revive takes about 4 seconds, and in the Resurrectionist covenant, when it's at epic rarity, it revives in about 2 seconds. So it cuts that time down into half of what it usually is. But yeah, this one is alright, and it would be even better if you would be able to use it while you are in solo, at least in some capacity. Moving on to the top 5, and these are the top 5 because these are the ones that I generally gravitate to in zombies games. At number 5 is Deathblow. Now this is actually the one that I get legendary most often, so I know that this one gives you 2 bullets back in your clip for every critical kill that you get, and it's at the bottom of my top 5 because it's useful, but it really only is for shotguns and maybe snipers. But for any other weapon class, you're going to be using more than 2 bullets bullets to kill a zombie. But don't get me wrong, when you use this with shotguns, it's pretty damn good because you can go quite a bit of time without having to actually reload, and you don't have to put your weapon away to get this benefit. Now at number 4, I have Splatterfest, and with this one, zombies killed by explosions have a chance of also exploding. The higher the rarity goes, the more chance they have to explode. So when it's at legendary, the zombies killed by explosions have a very high chance of exploding, and this would be pretty average, I would say. But the fact that it actually works if you kill other zombies with the boom shryers, that automatically elevates this covenant to the top 5 for me, because you don't actually have to have any equipment to actually get use from this covenant. And since there's so many boom shryers spawning in every single round, you can actually get quite a bit of use from this one if you use it correctly. At the number 3 spot, I have as Motherlode, and with this one, every time you use equipment, you have a chance to keep it, and when it's at legendary, you actually have a very high chance to keep the equipment and a small chance to gain an additional equipment. So that's pretty insane. Regardless of whatever tactical or lethals you use, this is extremely helpful because it just saves you a bunch of salvage that you could waste on the craft bench. I tried doing some testing at every rarity, but it's pretty random, generally speaking, but the legendary version definitely makes it so you keep your equipment much more often. At the runner-up spot, I have Dead Accurate, and with this one, consecutive hits on an enemy grant more damage. This is the last one on the list that I have not, for the life of me, been able to get on legendary. But on epic, I did some testing, and my damage went from 120 to 192, meaning that the increase was 60%. I'm sure that the legendary gives even more damage or an additional benefit, but even at epic, this one is very useful at taking out big boys and overall just making your guns way stronger. I'm a zombies player that likes to do more damage just because I feel a lot safer, and considering that there's no wonder weapon in the game, this covenant is pretty much a must in every single session. But finally, at the number 1 spot, the best covenant in all of Vanguard Zombies, it is Cull the Weak. And with this one, you deal more damage to stunned or slowed enemies. Now, I did a bunch of testing on this one because it was by far my favorite. So with the rare version, I went from 192 to 432, meaning it increased in damage by 125%, which is already insane and by far more than any of the other damage increasing covenants. With the epic, it was a 200% increase in damage, going from 480 to 1440. And with legendary, it was the same. However, there is also a massive increase to your critical damage. And when I tested this, I went from 3,780 damage to 22,680, making it a 500% damage increase. That is utterly insane. I mean, I used this on a big boy, I stunned him, and I literally one-shot him. That is the wonder weapon of this map, is Cull the Weak legendary and a triple pack shotgun. You're set. If you have not used this covenant, I highly recommend that you do. It is so much fun being this OP again.